When the old man collapsed in front of us, my roommate rushed past me to help him up. And in that instant, I knew she'd been reborn, too. In our past lives, my roommate and I had navigated the grueling grad school application process side by side, all the way to the final interviews. The catch? We were both vying for the same mentor, and there was only one opening. On the day of those interviews, an old man collapsed in front of us, just like today. I was the one who stopped to help him, which cost me precious time and made me miss my interview. My roommate seized the opportunity and claimed the spot. As it turned out, the man I aided wasn't just anyone. He was a wealthy tycoon who had orchestrated the fall to identify a compassionate, deserving partner for his son. In an instant, I was engaged to the heir of one of New York's richest families, thrust into a world of opulence, surrounded by a constant retinue. Meanwhile, my roommate graduated into a cutthroat job market. The recession and her lofty expectations led to failure after failure. She held me responsible for her misfortunes. One night, she confronted me at my doorstep and attacked, plunging a knife into me repeatedly. I died in pain, my heart heavy with resentment. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the pivotal moment, the day I crossed paths with the tycoon. "Sir, are you okay? Are you injured?" Jessica Miller's voice was soft as she helped the old man stand, a kindness I'd never seen in her before. That tenderness confirmed it. She, too, had been reborn. Before I could process it, she'd hailed a cab, ready to rush the man to a hospital. As the taxi pulled away, Jessica glanced back at me through the window, flashing a warm, almost convincing smile. "Don't miss your interview. One of us needs to succeed, so I'm stepping aside for you." I stood frozen. If I didn't know her true nature, I might have been moved by her apparent selflessness. Instead, I managed a grateful nod. "Don't worry, I'll make the most of this opportunity. I'll secure that spot." Jessica seemed taken aback that I didn't protest, her lips tightening as she muttered something under her breath. "So naive. If you only knew." She didn't finish, but I understood her meaning perfectly. In my previous life, my concern for the old man led me to escort him to the hospital, causing me to miss my interview. Jessica got the grad school position as a result. But the twist was that the man I'd helped was a billionaire seeking a worthy daughter-in-law for his son. I became the fiancé of a magnate, reaping unimaginable wealth and privilege. By the time Jessica graduated, she faced a grim job market. Her master's degree fueled her belief that only a six-figure salary was acceptable, but she found no success. Our lives had taken wildly different paths. Her envy consumed her, and one day she ambushed me at my home, stabbing me countless times. Back in the present, the memory of that betrayal lingered like a sharp ache in my chest. A glint of disdain flashed in Jessica's eyes. "Well, good luck with your little grad program. It means nothing to me now." I smiled politely, nodding. "And congratulations to you, the billionaire's perfect daughter-in-law." As the car window closed, my smile faded. I turned and walked away. That night, Jessica didn't return to our dorm. She was always short on cash and never stayed out late. Then her Instagram story updated. Photos of her reveling at an upscale club, surrounded by bottles of rare, exorbitantly priced wine. Moments later, my phone buzzed with a flood of images from her, luxury bags, designer clothes, and more. She was flaunting her newfound extravagance, but I knew she was penniless. This was all reckless spending, banking on her future as a tycoon's wife. I let out a bitter chuckle. Enjoy it while it lasts. Her downfall would be all the more dramatic. An hour later, the dorm door flew open, and Jessica staggered in, reeking of liquor. When she saw me, a smirk twisted her face. "Pathetic little worm. Do you know how easily I could ruin you now?" Swaying drunkenly, she jabbed a finger in my direction. "You're so pitiful, scraping by, acting superior when you're nothing." "You can keep my scraps," she slurred, grabbing her few prized belongings and tossing her cheap trinkets at me before storming out. From the dorm window, I watched her climb gleefully into a sleek luxury car. When I spotted the license plate, a sequence of lucky numbers, I couldn't help but laugh. My fingers brushed my phone screen. A billionaire's wife? I'm afraid you're in for a rude awakening. A few days later, an email arrived confirming my acceptance into the graduate program. My advisor was a giant in the industry, and earning his mentorship felt like a massive vote of confidence. When I shared the news with my family, they insisted on celebrating at the city's exclusive 7-star hotel. I arrived early to place our order, but as I stepped into the lobby, a sharp, mocking voice cut through the air. Well, Riley Sterling. What's someone like you doing in a place like this? This hotel's for members only, you know. I took a steadying breath and turned to face the source. Of course, it was Jessica, sauntering toward me with her usual posse in tow. She looked me up and down, her lip curling in disdain. Those bargain bin clothes and that tacky embroidered jewelry? Honestly, you're brave to show up here looking like that. Then, as if a new thought hit her, her sneer deepened. Wait a minute, this is a hotel. You're not here, working the clientele for extra cash, are you? One of her followers snickered, jumping in. No wonder you stayed single all through college. Didn't want your rich patron getting jealous, huh? The hostess at the entrance, clearly new, didn't recognize me. Her expression shifted at their words, and she subtly wrinkled her nose, as if I were something unsavory. I let out a dry laugh. Since it's members only, I take it you're all card-carrying members? Jessica shot me a look dripping with contempt. I'm engaged to a billionaire. A membership here? Child's play. The hostess's eyes sparkled at the mention of Billionaire. Right this way, she said eagerly, gesturing for Jessica's group to follow. Where would you like to dine? Jessica soaked up the attention, her posture stiffening with pride. Only the Skyline Suite will do, room 888, naturally. The hostess's face lit up further. That's our most extravagant suite. With a billionaire behind you, the cost must be trivial. She added, almost casually, to book that suite, the membership requires a minimum annual spend of $1 million. The words $1 million stopped Jessica cold. She hadn't anticipated that a simple dinner to impress her friends would carry such a staggering price tag. The hostess, noticing the group lagging behind, paused and turned back. Perhaps you'd prefer suites 666 or 777. Those only require a few $100,000 annually. A faint smirk tugged at my lips as I spoke up. The main dining hall's lovely too, you know. Much more affordable. Surely a billionaire's fiancé can cover at least one meal. My jab hit its mark. Jessica, who had been wavering, bristled. What are you babbling about? $1 million for dinner? That's nothing. She whirled on the hostess. What's with suggesting 666 or 777? You think we can't handle 888? Book it now. The hostess, startled by the outburst but maintaining her professional smile, nodded. Of course. I'll reserve suite 888 immediately. Who's covering the membership fee? She produced a card reader and fixed her gaze on Jessica. I saw her hesitate again and couldn't resist twisting the knife. Don't tell me you're short on funds. Why not let me take the suite? My patron can certainly cover it. Before Jessica could respond, her entourage erupted. Riley, you're admitting you're just a gold digger? Shameless. Mr. Sterling himself set up the engagement. They'll be married the moment the billionaire's back in town. She can afford anything. I tilted my head, drawling. Oh, so it's just a handshake deal? Maybe you'd all be more comfortable at a street vendor. $10 each should do it. With that, I stepped toward the door of suite 888. Jessica shoved past me, yanking a credit card from her purse and tossing it at the hostess. Run it. I'm booking that suite, and that's that. For the next few days, I threw myself into the research project my advisor assigned, losing track of time. Jessica, meanwhile, kept a lower profile. I'd overheard hotel staff whispering that she'd burned through an alarming number of credit cards to cover that dinner. The financial hit must have been brutal, and the thought brought me a quiet thrill. It was the first step in her facing the consequences of her actions. Then, out of the blue, my phone rang. Jessica's name flashed on the screen, and a sly smile spread across my face. Riley, don't say I never do anything for you, she began. We were roommates for years, so I'm inviting you to my engagement party. My billionaire father-in-law says New York's elite will be there. Way better than groveling for some tacky, new money creep, right? Her words left me baffled, wondering what wild delusions she was spinning now. When I didn't reply immediately, she scoffed. What's the matter? Green with envy that I'm about to become a billionaire's wife. Too intimidated to show up. I nearly burst out laughing but glanced at the Evite's location and responded calmly. Don't worry, I'll be there. Miss the spectacle? Not a chance. On the day of the party, Jessica swept in wearing a dazzling gown, a diamond necklace sparkling at her neck. Her entourage fawned over her, buzzing with admiration. That necklace must have cost a fortune. Jessica tilted her head proudly, holding up one finger. Her follower gasped. $1 million just for the necklace? Your whole look must be worth a mansion. Then a sharp voice cut through the flattery. What a fraud. A billionaire's engagement party? In this random venue? The cab ride out here cost me $100. And seriously, a billionaire picking her? I traced the voice to a group of classmates who'd always clashed with Jessica. Her lips twitched as she fought to keep her composure. She stood taller, commanding the room's attention. Jealous that my life's finally outshining yours? She shot back. I saved a billionaire's father, and he was so impressed by my compassion and grace that he demanded I marry his son. She raised her hand, letting the massive diamond on her finger catch the light. My father-in-law arranged it all, she continued. He chose this venue to accommodate New York's high society. I invited you all to witness true elegance. This is me doing you a favor, so you don't have to crawl back to your nowhere towns and scrape by. Her arrogance stunned the group, but the dazzling jewelry made her claims hard to dismiss. One of the classmates muttered resentfully, "Did she really luck out like that? She's just a nobody who hit the jackpot. So, what if she marries a billionaire? He'll ditch her the second he's bored." Her gaze landed on me. Riley's the one with a real future. She got into grad school. Her potential's endless. That's way better than living in fear of being tossed aside. Jessica let out a mocking laugh. You call yourselves finance majors? Haven't you heard the economy's crashing? So, what if Riley has a master's? She'll end up scrubbing floors or waiting tables. I lowered my gaze, a spark of amusement in my eyes. My advisor was a titan in the field, with connections to land his students at top firms worldwide. In our past life, Jessica had been so smug, demanding a seven-figure salary fresh out of school. And, as she'd just pointed out, the economy was in shambles, and she'd found no success. Her eyes lingered on me, a cunning smile curling her lips. But Riley's not like other grad students. She's got a rich benefactor footing the bill. I saw her fawning over him at that 7-star hotel the other day. With her grad student title, her future's probably set. My amused expression hardened, freezing on my face. The room buzzed with alumni, and hushed murmurs spread like wildfire through the crowd. Terms like gold digger, kept woman, and new money floated to my ears. Jessica clearly overheard them too, her eyebrow arching as a smug smirk curled her lips. "Riley, don't say I never looked out for you," she said. "Pick any of these fine gentlemen here, and I'll put in a good word. Whether you're a mistress or a side piece, at least you'll snag someone easy on the eyes." She cast a pointed glance at the classmates who'd always despised her. "That goes for all of you. Now that I've made it big, I won't forget my old pals." The girls' faces soured, but they knew better than to confront her in her moment of triumph. Just then, a man who bore a faint resemblance to Jessica approached, his ill-fitting suit hanging awkwardly on his frame. His eyes locked onto me, and he licked his lips in a way that made my skin crawl. "Jess, this must be Riley, your roommate," he said, his voice oily. He reached out to place a hand on my shoulder. I stepped back, my expression icing over. Jessica's eyes flicked around before she slid forward, draping an arm around me in a falsely warm gesture. "Riley, meet my brother, Tyler. I showed him your photo a while back, and he's quite taken with you. Since you're already in the business of pleasing men, why not marry Tyler? It's a tidy deal, and you'd be tied to a billionaire's family." Tyler slicked back his greasy hair with a damp palm and puffed out his chest. "Riley, you're my fiancé now. I'm the only son in our family, and frankly, you're beneath me. But you're pretty enough, so I'll lower myself to marry you. Just give me a son, and my family won't care about your past." Their words made my temples throb. Back in college, Jessica often returned from breaks with bruises, confiding tearfully that her brother was responsible. I'd pieced together that her family was deeply traditional, valuing sons above all else. Out of pity, I'd often supported her, offering help when she needed it. But over time, I saw her true colors: selfish, vain, and riddled with insecurities. I distanced myself, thinking she was just troubled. Now I saw the depth of her malice. Jessica's eyes gleamed with vicious glee. She knew exactly what kind of creep her brother was. With a sharp motion, I shrugged off her arm. She yelped in surprise, her shock quickly morphing into fury. "Riley, you ungrateful wretch. You don't know a good deal when it's handed to you. I'm about to be a billionaire's wife. Offering you my brother is a favor." Her eyes blazed with malice as she snapped. "Starting today, you're part of my family. The party's about to begin, and you'll walk in as Tyler's date. This is your chance to impress my father-in-law and fiancé. If all goes well, you two can head to City Hall tomorrow." I stared at her, my gaze cold and unwavering. Tyler lunged forward, his hand cracking across my cheek. Before I could react, he grabbed my arm, trying to pull me into his grip. "You little tramp. I'm the billionaire's brother-in-law. Disobey me, and a few slaps will teach you your place." As I struggled, I glanced at my watch. "Where are they?" Jessica folded her arms, sneering. "What? Expecting reinforcements? Pathetic. I'm marrying New York's richest man. No matter who you call, I'll crush you. Is that the little con artist who swindled my father's retirement fund?" A sharp, furious voice cut through her words. A middle-aged woman in plain clothes stormed into the room. Spotting Jessica in her glamorous gown, she charged forward and delivered a stinging slap across her face. "You're the little crook, aren't you? Stealing from a 90-year-old man." The room erupted into chaos. Seizing a moment, I drove my knee into Tyler's groin. As he doubled over, howling, I slipped to a corner to watch the drama unfold. Jessica wrestled against the woman's grip, her face flushed with effort, but she couldn't break free from the woman's rough, work-worn hands. More red marks bloomed across her cheeks. The woman shouted as she struck her. $1 million. My father's life savings, his burial fund, and you, a slip of a girl, stole it all. You're barely grown, and already so heartless. Return every penny today, or I'll make you regret it." The guests buzzed with shock. "What's happening? How did a fancy engagement party turn into this mess? Didn't see that twist coming." She was so smug, and now this bombshell. During a brief pause in the woman's onslaught, Jessica broke free, gasping for air. "You old bat, what are you ranting about?" she shouted. "My money was a gift from my billionaire father-in-law to his future daughter-in-law." She let out a mocking laugh. "Oh, I see. The billionaire's test for a daughter-in-law is unique. You must have helped him up too, didn't you? Too bad you were too old to make the cut, so now you're trying to extort me. Keep this up, and when my father-in-law and fiancé arrive, they'll tear you apart." Her entourage, who'd retreated during the scuffle, regained their boldness and chimed in. "You can't just throw around accusations without proof, lady. Careful, or we'll report you for fraud." "Yeah, at your age, pulling scams? You probably saw Jessica's big engagement party and thought you'd cash in." The woman laughed bitterly, her finger trembling as she pointed at Jessica. "I'm the scammer? We'll see who's really conning who." She held up her phone, displaying a photo. Jessica glanced at it, froze, then grabbed the phone for a closer look. In the center was the billionaire she'd helped, and standing behind him was the woman now confronting her. Her grip on the phone tightened, leaving red marks on her skin. A classmate who peeked at the photo burst out laughing. "I knew it! Jessica, you? Lucky enough to land a billionaire? No way! You conned an old man out of his pension to play high society. You're not just shallow, you're heartless." Jessica flailed her hands, muttering in disbelief. "Fake? No way. The card he gave me had an S on it. His last name's Sterling. And you can't fake those mansions and luxury cars." Then, as if a switch flipped, she laughed hysterically. She flung the woman's phone to the floor and sneered. "Nice try, lady. Think you can scam $1 million with a badly edited photo?" The woman's eyes widened, her breath heavy with fury. Jessica gave her a dismissive glance, taking the woman's rage as a sign her bluff had been called. The woman exploded, grabbing Jessica's hair and yanking. "You little thief. You insult me and smash my phone? Return my $1 million and pay for my phone, or I'll show you who's getting skinned alive." The crowd retreated, some anxious, others reveling in the spectacle. No one stepped in to stop it. Just then, an elderly man shuffled in, leaning on a cane. He surveyed the chaos and rapped his cane sharply on the floor. "What's all this nonsense? Look at the time. Why hasn't the party started?" Jessica and the woman froze, then turned toward him, their faces lighting up with recognition. "Dad," they both cried. The old man's gaze settled on the middle-aged woman first, his face clouding with irritation, though his tone carried a hint of familiarity. "Fiona, I told you this is a movie set. You can't just show up while I'm working." Jessica's eyes flicked between them, a sinking dread coiling in her stomach. She rushed forward, her voice trembling. "Sir, you know her? She's ruining my engagement party with your son. Shouldn't we have her escorted out?" The old man nodded gravely and turned to the woman. "You need to leave. You're delaying the shoot. We've got all these extras here, and every minute costs money." His words sparked a fresh wave of murmurs through the room. The high society guests who'd been posturing moments ago began muttering among themselves. Someone piped up, bewildered. Weren't we filming a scene? Another shrugged. Beats me. I'm just an extra, no script. I thought that whole fight was part of the story. Then it dawned on the crowd. There were no cameras or crew in sight. So, she actually thought this was her engagement party with a billionaire? That woman was right. She conned the old man out of $1 million. Jessica stood frozen, the scattered remarks from the crowd pounding in her head. She turned to the old man, her voice shaking with barely contained desperation. Sir, you said you wanted me as your daughter-in-law. That was real, wasn't it? The old man blinked, confused, but nodded. Sure. That's the storyline for this short film. It's a romance about a billionaire falling for his arranged bride. I play the father who stages a fall to test people. The one who helps me up gets to be the lead. Jessica's world shattered. A short film. She staggered back, her mind spiraling, haunted by the $1 million she'd burned through. But the luxury cars you drove me in, the mansion you showed me, those were real, right? Seeing tears pooling in her eyes, the old man softened. Those were rentals for the shoot, dear. Jessica's eyes squeezed shut, then snapped open as she fumbled for the bank card he'd given her. What about this card with an S on it? Your last name's Sterling, isn't it? The old man's eyes widened. That card was for paying the extras. My name's not Sterling, it's Sterling. Jessica crumpled to the floor, her breath hitching. Refusing to accept it, she clutched his frail hand, tears streaming down her face. Sir, no, Dad, this is a test, right? You wanted to see if I could handle the temptations of wealth after joining your family. You've been testing me this whole time, haven't you? Her grip tightened, and the old man couldn't pull free. The woman beside him scowled, shoving Jessica back. What's wrong with you, girl? You won't listen to reason. Before my dad's dementia set in, his last role was in a short film where he played a billionaire's father. The funding fell through, and it's been his biggest regret. He started using his own money to hire actors and rent locations to finish it. Who could have guessed he'd cross paths with someone as ruthless as you? You drained $1 million from that card. The crowd caught on, and Jessica's detractors seized the chance to jeer. No wonder I saw a sign for a film production base outside. This was all a movie set. Thanks for the comedy show, Jessica. They clapped mockingly as they filed out. The other guests Jessica had invited slipped away awkwardly, leaving only the unpaid extras and her oblivious family. Suddenly, the hall doors burst open, and a group of burly men stormed in, zeroing in on Jessica. You said you'd pay us back after the engagement. You kept us waiting out there, got a death wish. Jessica curled into a ball, surrounded by creditors demanding payment, her mind screaming that she was done for. Then she spotted me in the corner, about to leave. She lunged, grabbing my arm and shrieking. Why? Why did it turn out like this? Why do you get to be the billionaire's fiancé while I'm a laughingstock? I let her shake me, a grin spreading across my face. Why? Because you're foolish and greedy. She released me, stumbling back, her face twisting in horror. You came back too. Her eyes dropped as she processed, then snapped up, bloodshot with fury. You came back for revenge. You knew the truth from the start. You just wanted to watch me crash and burn. Or did you sabotage me? Was I supposed to marry into that family? She lunged again, her eyes blazing with resentment. That's it, isn't it? How else were you so rich in our last life? The cars, the mansion, the entourage. Give me back my life. I slapped her hard across the face, silencing her. Did you really think someone like you could just stumble into a billionaire's family? Your greed is practically written on your face. In our last life, when that old man asked me my name 3 times, I knew something was off. I tapped my temple. You saw it too, didn't you? You just chose to ignore it. I smirked, my voice icy. Didn't I mention my benefactor? Funny thing, he's the richest man in the city. And he's my father. Impossible. Jessica spat. Just because your last name's Sterling, you think you're one of those Sterlings? You've been a broke nobody for years. My smile widened as I laughed coldly. You small-town fool. Real wealth doesn't need to scream. I'm rich, to the world like you do. Oh, and those embroidered clothes you mocked? They're custom-made, worth far more than that $1 million outfit you're wearing. My words struck like a blade. Jessica's eyes flared with rage, but then her demeanor shifted abruptly. Riley, I was wrong. I let greed blind me. You've been so kind to me all these years. Please, can you forgive me? She started to kneel, but I stepped back unmoved. She froze, stunned, then began bowing repeatedly, her forehead reddening as it hit the floor. Riley, save me. You're a billionaire's daughter. A few million is nothing to you. I said nothing, casually inspecting my nails. Jessica noticed and bowed harder, her dignity crumbling against the weight of her $1 million debt. Bored, I stepped forward, grabbed her chin, and slapped her several times. Seeing you grovel is satisfying, but then I remember how you killed me in our last life. Save you? Not a chance. I leaned in, whispering, I believe in payback. You murdered me, so I'm going to make your life hell. This is just the start. With that, I shoved her toward the creditors circling like vultures. It felt like I'd pushed her into an abyss. Days later, I began an internship at my family's company as part of my research project. One morning, as I arrived at the office, someone grabbed my arm. It was Jessica's family, with Tyler gripping me, his face lit with excitement. Sweetheart, you're here. His tone and familiarity made me scowl. I yanked my arm free and glared. One more step, and I'm calling the cops. Tyler rubbed his hands, grinning sheepishly. Jess, come talk some sense into Riley. Jessica stepped forward, her face bruised, with clear handprints on her cheek. Her eyes met mine, cold and calculating. I glared at Jessica, my disgust plain on my face. Riley, you swore you'd be with my brother.
Why are you backing out now? She demanded.
Her words made me burst into laughter. Are you out of your mind? When did I ever agree to that? My sharp retort made Jessica's lips twitch in irritation. She leaned forward, shouting, What's wrong with you, Riley? We settled this at the engagement party. You can't just break your promise. Her raised voice drew a crowd of onlookers. For a moment, I was caught off guard, scanning the gathering faces. Jessica's family, sensing my discomfort, seized the opportunity. They plopped down on the sidewalk, making a spectacle. How can a woman be so heartless? She agreed to marry our son, and now she's abandoning him. My boy doesn't even care about her shady past, and she's rejecting him. Just then, a coworker in the crowd recognized me. After hearing their accusations, they stepped in. You've got the wrong person. This is Ms. Sterling, the daughter of Sterling Corporation's owner. They eyed Jessica's family with disdain. She'd never be interested in your son. Jessica's mother's eyes narrowed. She shot up from the ground, jabbing a finger at the employee. What nonsense is that? I'll shut you up myself. My son is the pride of our family. He's more than a match for any billionaire's daughter. You little tramp, you're coming with us to get married right now. She lunged at me, but a team of bodyguards in dark suits blocked her path. Jessica's family, bullies who preyed on the weak, cowered at the sight of the guards. Their eyes darted to the towering Sterling Corporation building nearby, and they swallowed hard. Tyler, undeterred, pulled a stack of photos from his pocket, crude, doctored images with my face clumsily superimposed on explicit scenes. Look at this, everyone. This so-called billionaire's daughter? I've already had her. You've got no choice but to marry me. My expression darkened as I gave a curt order to the head of security. Call the police. And if you see them again, throw them out. If they come back, make sure they regret it. My voice was ice cold. I wanted nothing more than to be rid of these parasites for good. Without another glance, I turned to leave. But Jessica, like a cornered animal, bit the hand of the guard restraining her and broke free. She rushed at me, collapsing to her knees and clutching my legs. I was wrong. Riley, please help me. I didn't want to bring them here. I owe too much money, and the creditors came to our house. We've lost everything. If they come back, I'm finished. You're so rich, please, just help me. She bowed repeatedly, her forehead smacking the pavement with a sickening thud. Her body shook with fear. But I remembered my own terror when she'd stabbed me over and over in our past life. I begged you too, Jessica. I pleaded for my life. Her bowing stopped. She remembered that day, me clinging to her, begging, while she drove the knife in harder. She looked up, her eyes wild with mania and a glint of murderous intent. That's right. Everything went wrong after I killed you. So, if I kill you again, I can start over, right? Jessica's words sent a chill through me. A voice in my head warned that she'd never leave me alone unless I dealt with her for good. In the days that followed, I bolstered security at my office and home. Jessica vanished, but Tyler was a constant shadow, leering at me from afar. Whenever he caught my eye, he'd taunt, "Sweetheart, I'm back. We miss you." He'd make vile gestures, tossing weeds at me or shouting crude insults. After enduring his harassment for the 100th time, I devised a plan to end this once and for all. One evening, Jessica, using her small frame, hid in my car's trunk. When the car pulled into my private garage, she sprang out, knife in hand, and stabbed repeatedly into what she thought was my body. "I want my life back," she ranted. "This time, I'll get it right. I still have a chance." Her laughter was unhinged as blood pooled on the concrete, staining her hands and clouding her eyes. She didn't notice the cries were eerily familiar, or that the face beneath the hat wasn't mine. Only when the body went still did she stop, panting heavily. Gloating, she kicked the figure. "So, what if you're a billionaire's daughter? I've killed you again." The force of her kick flipped the body over, and the hat fell away. Her eyes widened in horror. "It wasn't me, it was Tyler," she yelped, stumbling back and collapsing.
"No.
"How could it be you? If Mom and Dad find out, they'll destroy me." The garage lights flickered, casting stark shadows across her terrified face. She checked Tyler's breath. Nothing. Gasping, she fled in a panic. From my office, I watched the security footage on my monitor and dialed 911. The first to find Jessica weren't the police, but her parents. They knew their daughter well. Vain, insecure, and spineless. Her mother, seething with rage, sold her to a family in a remote village. I later heard Jessica's life became a nightmare, forced to bear children in squalor. She died in a filthy barn, her existence erased until years later, when a census uncovered that the fugitive wanted for murder had perished there. For a long time, Jessica's parents hounded me, claiming I was responsible for Tyler's death since it happened on my property. The police investigated repeatedly, but found only evidence of Tyler stalking me. He'd stolen my car after I left the keys in it and driven to my estate. The security guard, recognizing my car, let him in when he claimed he was returning it. Using the garage remote on my keychain, he'd entered my villa. His intentions were easy to guess. With undeniable evidence, Jessica's parents had no case. Through restraining orders and firm action, I finally reclaimed my peace. I often wondered what fueled Jessica's resentment. Was it her education, squandered in a world that didn't value her as she expected? Or the fact that, despite making different choices this time, she still fell into ruin? I didn't set her up. I merely held the door open. She chose to walk through it to her doom.